So, hello everybody. I know it's been a minute since probably like 3-4 months that I've done a video. There's a lot that's been going on, positive and negative and da 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 da. But I just kind of wanted to go over some things. Like the last video I made, me and my daughter was building a food truck out of a bus. And for the most part, it came out pretty good. So we got it done and we passed our inspections, and we are the first ever food truck, I guess you can say, in Manawa, Wisconsin. And I know that's not something that's on a lot of people's agenda or a lot of people's radar. Manawa, who comes to Manawa? But other bigger cities around us is like Wapaka, Stevens Point, Appleton is like 40 minutes away. I know this because that's where I work at. But it's been up and down and stuff like that, and you know, you try not to get depressed about the down stuff. We just had a week for the rodeo. I took a week off, not a whole week, it was 5 days. Okay, a work week. How about we say that? That way I could work the bus. Before I jump too far ahead, I know you don't understand, but I've literally worked 2 months in a row. What I mean by that is whatever days that I'm not actually at my full-time job, I'm running the bus. So, and it's a lot of work. It is. I'm extremely tired, but I'm trying to find ways to push forward and to keep moving. And after this week, there's been a lot of questions that have popped up in my head. That's the ADD talking and stuff like that, that I'm trying to answer, because you know, it wasn't the greatest week that we've had. And you know, you try to, going into your own business, your goal is to keep customers, to and keep pushing forward. So regardless of what people say, what people do, you know, your main goal is to do the best that you can. Sorry, I keep looking off to the side because I'm actually inside the bus. Cars are going by and da 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 da, and who knows where my kids are. So we're gonna try to keep pushing forward for right now. This wasn't the best week, but it wasn't by far the worst week that we've had. But it sucks. You know, you're just starting off, you're just getting into the groove of things, and it kind of hits home, because one of the things my mom used to always tell me is, if you're going to do something, put your all into it. Don't half-ass anything. And I don't feel like I am. Am I putting out the best food that I can? Yes. Can I be slacking on some areas? Yes. And that's not what I want to do. So, for you not to understand, I'm working, you know, 80 plus hours. Because even when I'm working at my full-time job, you know, we have a schedule of things of, you know, my dry goods. I normally pick that up on Mondays. Then Tuesdays and Wednesdays, it's running errands and, you know, dropping the deposit off and stuff like that. Which I got to find a new bank for that, because my business bank account, because it's literally further than what I want to drive. I have a bag full of quarters now. Not really quarters, but change. But, so, you have to ask yourself sometimes, like, is it even worth it to continue? And I guess that's what's hitting home. And hitting hard. Could I drop down to part-time at my job? Yes. Will I keep my insurance? Yes. But what if ultimately this doesn't pan out? You know what I mean? Then what is there for me to do? And the sad part is, because I'm not trying to live through fear, and that's what I feel like yesterday and today is living through fear and, you know, the reality of things. Could I just drop down to just doing catering events? Yes. But I love traveling. I love going out. I love, like, I'm a people person, regardless of what happens. You know, I'm a people person, and for the most part, I get along with mostly everybody. There are some D-bags and a-holes out there, but we're not going to mention them by now. But, we are pushing forward, as much as we can. It's hard because, for the most part, you know, I'm doing this by myself, majority of it. Oh, you're just cooking. Well, that's a lot of work. And then, in the same sense, you're trying to, you know, keep your customers happy and keep them coming back. But it's the summertime. So, you know, that's where the hard part is, because it's summer. So it's not like people are staying in town, and it's not like, just because you're there, they're going to come. Sometimes people get sick of barbecue. I hate to say that, but we don't even need it in the house as much as we probably should. But that's also why, you know, I try to come out with specials to give people specials and things to look forward to. Yesterday, which was kind of hurtful, I guess you may say, our special was biscuits and gravy. Not one person bought it. Not one person. So, you know, you look at situations like that to where, you know, you put an effort into something and it didn't pan out. So, it's a loss. Like, all that food is a loss. Don't mind me. My kids, my kids ate majority of it afterwards. But, you know, as a business, I still have to write it off as a loss. For those that are, you know, thinking about getting into business for themselves, thinking about, you know, starting a food truck, trailer, I guess my best advice is don't give up. And that's what I'm trying. So you just have to find what works for you and find what works for your customers for the most part, because each and every one of my customers I love. They are so funny, and I love them to death. And there's some regulars that I've actually gotten to the point of remembering their name, or, you know, I know for a fact what they're going to order. And it's cool. And, you know, it's another way for me to meet people. Some bad things that have happened. I use a POS system, and all I have to do for the most part is put the tablet inside of it, and then I can use it. Well, the charging tab, or the whatever tab that goes into where you can charge it, that broke. The problem with that is it broke inside the iPad. So not only do I have a POS system that I can't even use, I have a tablet that I can't even use. I can use it, but I can't charge it. And I think right now I'm at 30%. So what I did today was, after work, was drive around and try to find places that could fix it. And then I found one place, and they're like, yeah, we can replace the whole thing. What they're trying to charge is pretty much more than almost... It's kind of close to what I paid for the tablet in the first place. So that's not really ideal. And you got to remember, I'm starting out, so it's not like I have stacks of money that's just laying around, sitting around. And one thing that people don't understand, like, one of our main things, or number one sellers that we have, is pork. Pulled pork. Pork is not cheap right now. Not by no means whatsoever is it cheap. And people, well, you know, you can go here and get it. Well, yeah, I could, but not without getting in trouble. So, and what I mean by that is I have to go through authorized dealers and vendors, excuse me, and stuff like that to make sure I'm getting my food and stuff, especially meat. Like, I can't just go to a butcher and be like, hey, give me this. It doesn't work that way. And I think that's another issue where people, don't understand, because all they see is, well, why is this so high or why is that so high? Which I think I have reasonable prices. Because what I did was I did my research, and then I subtracted $1 up to $5 off of what other people charge. So, am I making that much money off of stuff? No. Do I know that? Yes. Do my customers know that? No. And that's not for them to know that. But so right now, yesterday and today, I've been kind of getting, I guess you can say, depressed about the whole situation. And the saddest part is that I want to be out more. I want to be out. One of the biggest towns around is Wapaka, and people have asked, you need to come to Wapaka more often. I would love to, if it wasn't for working 40 hours at my regular job. So it's just stuff like that. So by the time I get home, it's 1:30, and then that's really no time to do anything. And I hate to say it, I can't push that on my kids, regardless of if I want to or not. I can't. This was my thing, and though my kids help me, I think more so because they have to, because they're my kids, but because they see it's something that's beneficial to them in the long run as well. So I've been pushing, and it's hard because your customers want this or that or this or that, and if it's not in your budget for that week, that month, that year, one of the things that they ask me to make is brisket all the time. I work 40 hours a week at my regular job, and then I think we just had brisket this week, and I smoked it for 24 hours. I literally had it on the night before on the smoker as I'm running back and forth, because we had the bus open since I was on vacation. We had the bus open for the rodeo, and then I was running back and forth making sure that was getting done, and people loved it. But that's what I mean. It's a 24-hour day situation, and if pork is not cheap, you should already know that brisket is not cheap by no means. And this is where kind of the specials come into play, because one of our specials, like I said, this past week was brisket. It was a brisket sandwich. Came out great. I loved it. But one of the things I'm getting to is to take a break. Should I take a break? Should I close it down completely? Should I, just stop? Because ultimately, you got to understand, regardless of if you're following your dream or not, you got to take care of yourself. And at this point, I'm wearing myself down as well as everybody else in the house. So what I should have did this past week was at least took one day off and then hit it hard the rest of the week, and I didn't do that. It was my stubbornness, I guess you can say. I am a Taurus. That says, let's be out, let's get people to see our truck, and regardless of people came or not, it's just a matter of we were out there. People drove by, people walked by and stuff like that. But so that's what's been going on in my head for the last 2 days, and kind of the point of this video. I'm trying to tell people, follow your dreams, do what you have to do. The only new thing, I don't even think you guys have seen the bus in its completion, but it is not clean right now, so I am not showing you this bus. And that's another weird thing. Like, I didn't use a regular food truck, I used a bus. And so I say bus a lot, and half the time people are looking at me like I'm crazy. But it is actually a bus. But I love it. I love everything that we're doing, and I just wish kind of that I can do it more. And No, regardless of what people say or what people do, you can't please everybody, and I'm trying to understand that from a business standpoint. There's one thing of understanding that from a personal standpoint, but then there's another thing from a business standpoint, because from a business standpoint, I can make this type of food and somebody else can make it better. So one person might say, oh, yours is really good. Another person might say, oh, I don't like this. I like the other person's better. It is what it is, but, you know, we spend roughly, I want to say about an hour and a half to make sure, before we even leave, to make sure that food is set, food is done, and food is done right. One of the things we do is chicken thighs. And I know a lot of people temp probably 3 or 4 of them and say about 100 just to make sure all around that they're done. I literally temp every single one of them. The last thing I need and or want is somebody to get sick. So that's why I get anal on my type of stuff. If it's not done correctly, and I know it's if people have came to the truck and they've, well, can I get this? Oh, we're actually out of that. We may not have been actually out of that, or we may not have actually sold it, but it wasn't up to the level that I wanted it. So guess what? I'm not selling it. And that's the way I take pride into everything I cook, everything I make. So every business should be like that. And some of these smaller businesses you guys need to support. They need your help. I mean, there's like my stickers and stuff like that, even my business cards. There's a small place in New London that I go to. Could I easily go to Vistaprint? Yeah. Would it be quicker in Vistaprint? Probably, give or take. But I try to support the best, smallest business. And some people are, well, it's cheaper online. Well, all you're doing for the most part is padding somebody's pockets that are online. And yes, there are some small businesses that are online, and there's nothing wrong with that. But Walmart or places like that, I guess it is what it is. I guess, you know, I'm not telling you where to shop or where to go and stuff like that, but, you know, understand all the hard work that these small businesses are doing, and understand that it's not always a quick thing for these businesses to just be like, okay, I can pop this out. I had a lady, I want to say about a month ago, she ordered a pulled pork sandwich. Now, mind you, my pulled pork sandwich is $7. I don't think that's much. A quarter pounder at McDonald's is about $5 or $6. I don't know. I don't even remember the last time I've ate there. But and that's for a quarter pound of meat. Mine pulled pork is $7, and you darn near get close to a full. I want to say probably about a half pound of meat that you get. And she had an issue with it. Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. You know, it's not that we weigh everything out, but we make sure that you leave our truck, bus, whatever you want to call it, full. But in the same sense, people need to understand, I smoke my pulled pork for 10 hours overnight, sometimes more. Depending on how tired I am, I may take an hour break and take a nap quick. But it's just stuff like that that I don't think, you know, people really understand the true value that some of these small businesses are going through just to make sure that the customer is taken care of, and sometimes it's oversight. So you have to do you. You have to take care of you. You need to take care of your customers, your family, and the things that are around you first. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy in doing what I'm doing. I love doing what I am doing. I'm just tired. That's That's the biggest thing, is I'm just tired. And like today, which is, I was off for 5 days, and for my other job. I go back today, and I pretty much pulled something in my shoulder and in my back in the same day. I'm not saying that I'm in extruding a lot of pain, but whatever. But it's sore. So I don't know if it was just a matter of, you know, I haven't did it in 5 days, so my body's like, what the heck is going on? But it is what it is. And so that's about it. Follow your dreams, push hard, even though you may have some hard days, and trust me, you are going to have some hard days. Push forward and do what you got to do. Like, don't let the naysayers tell you you can't do something. Don't let yourself, for that matter, tell you you can't do something. Do what you have to do and follow your dream. The rest will come as it comes, for the most part. Love yourself, love your kids, and just pretty much, like I said, take care of yourself. But I will try to start posting videos at least weekly or bi-weekly, because one of the things that I want to do is start making videos like when we are serving and stuff like that. And I know I've gotten beside myself, but my daughters have been killing it, and I couldn't be more prouder. There's days to where, like, I've had to step away to, you know, deal with the customer, or we were in a new town, I want to say 2 weeks ago, and she killed it. I should say, because it's 2 or 3 of them. Normally my oldest one stays home and she preps food and she gets stuff ready for the next day and stuff like that. But they have literally been killing it. And I appreciate them more than words could probably say right now. And like I said, I've just been too tired to actually express that, which after this video is done, I will do that. But some of these kids nowadays, and even my kids, I hate to say it, are just lazy. Like, I didn't grow up that way, and I guess that's kind of the battle that I face some days with my kids is, well, they just don't feel like doing it, or they never feel like doing it. Like, and I guess it's hard because it's like, that's not how I was raised. That's not how I grew up. I've been working ever since I was 15. So, you know, I expect my kids to be like, oh yeah, I want money and I want this, and, you know, stuff like that. So I had to work for the stuff that I have, and, you know, just stuff like that in general. So I just think we've gotten, as a society, we've gotten away from teaching our kids the value of actually working every day, as opposed to just always giving them everything that they want. I didn't get everything I want, so my kids are not about to get everything that they want. Not about to happen. And it had nothing to do with, oh, you don't love your kid or whatever. You teach your kids the value of $1, and that'll give them more information to last them a lifetime than the toy that you just bought them because they wanted to throw a tantrum in the store. I don't think it works that way. Progress is always the key. And that's about it for me. Deuces.